Hello, and welcome to today's show. Today, what I'd like to talk about is hope. The intrinsic energy generation called hope. We talk about it a lot. We talk about it, kind of dance around about it. But today, what I would like to talk about is how do we make hope? How can we generate that energy? And just as importantly is, how do we lose hope? Because we know many of us feel this way. We feel that we've lost hope. Well, I'm here to tell you that you haven't lost it, my friends. You've simply suppressed it. And so what we have to learn, again, like our trend that we've done this week, talking about energy management, how it works, why it works, all of these things, we want to create an understanding of this energy that can help us with our mental health, it can help us with our physical health, and most importantly, it helps us with peace of mind. So today, I'd like to take a few minutes and talk about this energy generation called hope.
Legends say, in ancient times, when the gods walked with man, within the traditions of the Norse that were passed from the Celts, that there were warriors who traveled through the spiritual realms. These warriors spent their days on earth as shamans, guiding the members of their clan to spiritual understanding. These shamans knew the Landvedi. They were known as Ulf-Hefnar of Odin, the Allfather, in Valhalla. Today, the modern Ulf-Hefnar continues the tradition of using magic and wisdom to help our clansmen and women find harmony. In the traditions of our ancestors, the Ulf-Hefnar now invites those who seek knowledge to come forth to the circle of knowledge, to share our experiences and find commonality amongst all. Following in the traditions of his ancestors, Dr. Mark Wiseman offers hope and peace in his message of understanding our personal spirituality. Join us now for this week's message here with the Alaska Ulf-Hefnar. Let us call upon the house of Odin in Asgard, that he and Freya will hear our desires and provide us with their favor. Hail Odin, Lord of Asgard, warrior and wanderer, valiant and wise. You to whom all the gods of Asgard look, Sky Father, on the eight-legged steed. You who traded an eye for wisdom and ruled a turbulent realm. Give us the wisdom to accept the twists and turns of fate, even as you surrendered yourself to the mercies of the Norn. Protect us, All-Father, from what harm may come to us. Lead us through the wilderness and bring us safely to that great hall that you reserve only for the brave of spirit. Odin, we come to you today to seek your wisdom and guidance. We ask that you bestow upon those here the wisdom about the subject in which we speak. Be with them as they go forth and live their lives. Let us sip the cup of Odinr to bestow the wisdom of Kvasar. We ask for your guidance, that you be with us and guide us through the challenges that hell lay before us. Help us to recognize Loki as he attempts to deceive us, our true path. Hail Odin.
Hello and welcome back. Thanks for listening to our introduction. Today, I get the question a lot is, why do I feel as if I am losing hope for a successful life? A very delicate question. So, firstly, let's identify what is hope? What is it? It's not something you can buy in a store. It's not something that you can fashion with your own hands. It's something inside of you. It's an intrinsic thought process that allows us to see past our current obstacles or challenges and move forward. That's really at the crux of it. That's what hope is. Now, many people may say, well, why do we need hope? Well, my friends, we need hope. We must have the energy of hope for the new day, for what lies before us on our journey of life. We know the path will be fraught with issues, problems, challenges that are there to test us, to educate us, to maybe in some cases entertain us along our journey. So it's very important that we maintain our hope. Hope is not something that can really be defined in its truest form. Many people say, oh, I may not have hope. You do. You may need to reach down deep to find it, but it's there. Trust me. I know it's there. Later in the show, we're going to talk about losing hope, how that works, and we'll talk about really how do we transmit hope to others, because that's a doable thing. That's a real thing. So we need to understand how that works. We'll talk a little bit about rekindling. If we feel that we've kind of let our hope slip away, how do we rekindle that fire? How do we get that back? And finally, we'll build methods into our day that helps us to generate hope all times. So whenever we need it, we'll be able to generate it. So going back to the first part, let's talk about what hope is. And what I always tell people when they ask me what it is I tell them hope is a fire that burns within us. It is the promise that tomorrow will be better, that we'll accomplish something, that we will achieve some level of success or understanding. So hope is very critical as we move forward in life. Otherwise, we become fairly stagnant, kind of sitting around hoping things get better, right? So hope is a very intrinsic part of us. All physical forms, whether it be animal, whether it be the tree, whether it be the grass, all living things have hope. Hope for something better. We may not know what better is. We may not have any idea where we are in this not good, not bad spectrum, but we always hope for more and better than where we are. We can hope for growth. We can hope for learning. We can hope for each other. And that's a very powerful energy, because what hope does is it's an energy source that is intrinsic to us. And so as we feel the need to power ourselves into whatever it is, being successful, it's that energy generated by hope that we can then spin up. This is very critical, particularly if we're talking about depression, or we're talking about pretty much any kind of negativity kind of floating through our system. We can focus, concentrate a little bit, and we'll talk about methods to do this, but it's a way for us to kind of push that energy out, right? And so we're pushing our energy out towards our creation, an incanted spell, our prayers, those things. We're pushing that energy forward, and that's what hope does. Hope works with the power of love. Hope is some of the energy that's supplied, that creates the cycle of energy called love between two people, between things. All of these things requires hope for love to blossom. So hope, as you can tell, is very important. It is critical that we know what hope is and what it does to our world, to our lives. Excuse me. So, with the power of hope, we create love. And with love, we create light. We'll be right back after this message.
And now, a short break for these commercials. You're listening to the Alaska Uv Hefnar. Welcome back to the Alaska Uv Hefnar.
Okay, hey, welcome back. Thanks for coming back from that quick break. When we left, we were talking about what is hope, kind of defining it, talking about, why do we need this hope in our emotional toolbox? It's very critical. It's very critical. And what I want to talk about in this section is kind of how do we lose it? We always hear about people, oh, I'm losing hope. Well, you can't lose it. It can't be taken from you. It can only be surrendered. And that's very critical to understand. It can't be taken. It can only be surrendered. Okay, so as more and more challenges are facing our lives, we may say, it's hopeless. But it's not. As long as we maintain that hope, and we'll talk about methods, but as long as we maintain hope, we can combat this. But as life has it, life comes into our worlds, as it does, and it begins to what we think, that's really challenging, that's really overwhelming. I'm going to surrender some hope to that, right? I'm going to surrender hope. Negativity comes into our lives, and it comes into our bodies, and it's starting its churn. I'll surrender some hope to that. Now, you're not saying that, but that's what the body does. That's what the mind does, is it surrenders a little bit of that hope, a little bit. And the more challenges that face us, the more challenges that come forward, the more we keep surrendering a little hope. Now, the good news is when we talk about losing hope, you can't give it away. You can't give it all away. Because as I mentioned, hope is an engine. So it's building energy. It's constantly has the ability to just spur up at the moment's notice and build energy inside of us that we can then project forward on our trajectory. This is really important because it means really that the driver's seat is ours. We're really in charge of this. And so we'll talk moments in a few minutes. We're going to talk about methods to do this, but what I need you to know in without doubt, you have the power. You have the power to fire up the furnace of hope. You always have it. You never give it away. It may be, as I mentioned before, it may be suppressed greatly, It may be ignored, but you always have it. It's always within you. So that's really, really important. When we talk about giving away hope, there's a couple of ways we can do it. The first way is, as I mentioned, we surrender it upon a challenge or an obstacle, or maybe some negative energies in us kind of chips away at our abundance of hope. Or we may find someone who's way down. They've really let life kind of beat down their furnace, so their hope generation is really low, and they're really kind of got the world stacked against them, or they think they do. These people, we can offer them hope. Now, here's the beautiful thing, is as we offer them hope, we offer them the energy of hope with our words, with our actions, with the way we interact with them. We're sending them energy, because remember, wherever we focus is where our energy goes, right? So if we focus on them, we're sending them energy, right? And so as we care for them and we love them, we just open embrace them in our minds, we're sending them this energy. Now they can then take that energy, and that energy is good to then help them stoke their own fires. They begin to poke the fires of hope within themselves. Now, the beautiful thing about this is that as their hope engine begins to fire up and they start generating this energy, some of that energy is going to come back to us in a thanks, if you will. So their energy is going to come up, and that you're going to absorb some of that energy, and they're going to continue to build. Because remember, the hope furnace, it generates like crazy, but it does it itself. And once it gets into that cycle, it can really create a lot of hope and maintain hope in the face of enormous adversity. Okay, so hope can really be a very, very powerful emotion and energy source. So it's important that we understand its power. Okay, we technically are constantly giving our ancestors hope. As we think about them and we focus on them, remember again, wherever we focus, this is where our energy goes. As we focus on our ancestors and we put them into our minds and we think about their lives and their challenges, their obstacles, we're sending them energy. Now, the good news with our ancestors is, much like our friend whom we've now given some energy to, in the same way our ancestors return that energy to us. So it becomes a circle or a cycle of transmission, okay? And this is very important to know, because it means as the more we have hope, we can then pass it to others. So that's really important. As we pass it to others, it becomes a cycle and comes back to us. So this is really, really important. When we talk about hope, all we need to do is stoke the fires and begin that burning furnace that will then produce that energy. And then that energy just becomes self-sustaining, okay? And our mission then is to maintain that. We're going to keep our eyes on it, and when we start feeling a little pressure on there, we're going to think about things in the future, or think about better things, or whatever it takes to get that hope engine building up, constantly pushing that energy out. And again, our major goal should be to help others by passing on our energy of hope to them. Okay, so that's what I hope all these podcasts and the website and all of the documentation, I hope that's what I'm doing, is that I'm giving you hope, that I'm inspiring you, if you will, to stoke your engine of hope, that you're going to start creating this energy for yourself, and then you can then go and help others by passing your energy then to them. So it's kind of this ongoing pay it forward, if you will. And that's really one of the win-wins, if you will, from hope, that it becomes this self generation unit for energy that we can use not only for the present, but certainly as we go forward into the future with a positive, powerful outlook towards that objective. So really, really important that we understand that we're not going to lose it, we're going to surrender it. So don't surrender.
And now, a short break for these commercials. You're listening to the Alaska Uv Hefnar. Welcome back to the Alaska Uv Hefnar.
Welcome back. Thanks for taking that quick break with us. Okay, when we left, we were talking about not losing our hope, but maintaining it, holding on to it. And then, if we find ourselves surrendering it, find ways to create this hope, to stoke these fires. And we're going to talk about that in just a minute. What we want to make sure that when we're going to start generating our energy of hope, we need something forward from us in life. Now, when I need, my hope is drilled down, people have beat me up, and so my hope is really down there in the dumps. And I think, okay, how can I generate hope? And I go, well, you know what I can do? I know exactly what I can do. I can think of my ancestors. I put them in my mind, I can picture them, I see them on their farm, they're planting or harvesting, whatever it takes. And I really focus on them, because again, now I'm sending energy to them, they're getting that energy, they're turning it around and sending it back to me. So you've probably heard some of this advice that I'm going to offer as to how to kind of keep this hope burning. You've probably heard it before, but we'll kind of recover it just in case. And for those of you who have heard it, just bear with me. Whenever we talk about hope, we need to understand the power of affirmations. Excuse me. We've talked a lot about focusing and where is our focus, and wherever our focus is, so too is our energy. Our energy generation goes to wherever our focus is. So if we're focusing on our affirmations, then they're going to give us hope. So first step, I would advise, if you're feeling down and you're feeling a little beat up because it's been a long week and you need that boost, first thing is, when you wake up in the morning, firstly and foremost, you have to thank the ancestors. You're still above the grass. And then when you go in and you're going to start brushing your teeth or brushing your hair or whatever you do in the morning routine, on the mirror, you should put an affirmation. I'm going to be better today than I was yesterday. I'm going to be smarter. I'm going to be whatever it is. I just put better. I'm going to be better than I was yesterday. And that's enough for me to go, What am I going to strive for? I don't know yet. The day is still young. But I know I'm going to do it better than I did it yesterday. And so this is one of those very simplistic affirmations that I can give myself every day that kind of pushes me to say, I hope I'm going to be better than I was yesterday. Am I going to be better every day? No. I'm sure I'll have bad days. I'm sure I'll have off days. Everyone does, right? We're all human. But just the idea, right? And so it's that little idea that says I hope I'm better than I was yesterday. That's hope. That's the energy of hope being ignited. Maybe over a cup of coffee, you give yourself another affirmation. Today, I'm going to climb that hill in my backyard. I'm going to walk a mile. I'm going to something. Give yourself, these are goals, but they're affirmations. And when you set your affirmations, you don't want to put it in the past tense. So hope is forward looking. So we hope for something better. We hope this is a great moment. We're looking in the future. Okay? So when we talk about our affirmations, we want to make sure that they're futuristic. I'm better today than I was yesterday. Right? So I'm forward looking. And these affirmations then begin to sit into our mind. You know, if maybe you're getting ready to run a marathon and you want to run it, and I don't know times or anything, but you want to run it in a certain time. And so you're starting this process of training for it, and you say, well, today I'm going to run X amount of miles and I'm going to do it in this time. So very much like a goal, right? But it's futuristic. It's future looking. It doesn't say, you know, I'm marked up against this person and they did better than I did. That's not an affirmation. Okay? I hope I'm going to be better than my competition. That's forward looking. And that's the key to our affirmations. When we talk about affirmations, that's what we're talking about. Now, if you're like me, you're a very visual person. I'm very visual. I need to see things. To that end, you may get, I think they call them storyboards, or I've heard so many terms for them. But these are things in the future. You know, I want $1 million, say. Putting that idea out there, it's the very same thing to uttering a prayer or incanting a spell. It's the same kind of idea. So it's you're kind of putting forward this request for the future self to then provide something, whatever that is. Now, do understand there's a bunch of things that are going to come into play when we talk about, you know, casting spells and prayers and things. Lots of opportunities for what might be construed as, you know, a disappointment. But again, you know, if we change paths in our life and we say, oh, well, I never got that Ferrari that I kept asking for on my other path of life. Now I'm on this new job and this new career or this new whatever, and I live in, you know, Ukqiavik, Alaska. That Ferrari is not very beneficial, but you know, it'd really be nice, a really good four-wheeler. Okay, notice the path caused us to kind of alter our affirmations, and through our lives, as we change through our lives, that's what's going to happen. We're going to find time where it happens that our affirmations need to change to adjust to our new path. It happens. So just be cognizant of that as you're going through your life and you're setting these affirmations, these future affirmations, that you're paying attention to what direction your life is going, and you adjust your affirmations accordingly. Okay, well, the bell means that it's time to talk about our topic of meditation for this week. And what I'd like us to do is, during our meditation, I'd like us to take a moment and just think about hope. What is it that you hope for? Why do you hope for it? Who is this hope for? Is it for you? Or is it for you to show up this other person because you're better than they are? Think about our hopes, our dreams, and remember, affirmations are about the future. So think about what we want to be in that future picture. What are we going to look like? What are we going to want? What are we going to think about? These are all very powerful parts of developing an inner sense of hope. Peace, my friends.
This has been podcasted by Outlaw Productions.